Welcome to the Beacon by Soul 33, teachings for your past, present and future. Good morning everyone. It is the 16th of October here in Auckland, New Zealand. Welcome to new members. If you are a member that's been listening for a long time, I'm so grateful that you are here. And if you are able to tag, share, subscribe on whichever platform that you're listening to this, Spotify, the Beacon app, which is my personal app that I've created, or YouTube, that really helps me to get this app out there, letting people know that this soul progression lesson is available every week for people to learn from, to understand what life is asking of them. We are currently into the Navaratri Divine Feminine Festival. Now, this is a festival of my culture. It is to honor Ma Durga, the divine feminine goddess that comes in many forms. And each day, which you will see from my social media, she represents a different version of her, a different side to her feminine power. So this energy is very prevalent at the moment. This is why we started preparing for it last week. I don't know how your last week went, but mine was challenging. So the Monday mantra, I always do a recap first so that we listen to what the transition is from one week to the next. Everything is a cycle. The energy for last week, I set it as my personal power will give me personal growth. My personal power will give me personal growth. In my own life, power dynamic changes, needing to find my independence, not using it as a weapon, finding how to support when somebody else wants independence but also wants you to be there. It was a fascinating week. It was a bit painful at some times, but by the end of the week there was just so much growth. And I realized as I went through the week that the movement, the trip needing to go somewhere, I felt like that. I actually I haven't booked flights to go anywhere for a while. And last week something came up and I booked flights. I was like, right, I had this energy like, right, no, my personal power is to go, book it and go. And so you may not have actually physically gone anywhere, but there may have been plans and just that relocation and energy, making movement through energetic movement. You know what I mean? So the internal waters within us, that wanting to flow, wanting to go, wanting to push forward, wanting to retract back. It was a lot of that going on. And it's also part of this energy of the divine feminine going, because, we know Mother Nature, the divine feminine, is powerful. She can give birth, she can destroy, she can do all kinds of things, but she can also be supportive and creative and not codependent to the point where it's destructive. And I saw how courage was needed to feel safe in independence, to feel safe in personal power, and not feel like something is being taken away from you. Because last week, if you look back, your personal power would have been strengthened somehow. Those of you who are doing the meditations, who are on the journey, listening to these Monday mantras religiously, you will understand these Monday mantras a lot more than if you are not paying attention to your spiritual growth. So those of you who are listening to this just once in a while, you'll probably be going, how do I apply this to my life? I didn't see that. But those of us who are really in it, like myself, it's my full-time job to do soul progression therapy. That's why I've trademarked it as what I do. You will start to see immediately what is actually happening in terms of the guidance that Spirit is giving through me into your soul progression therapy lesson for the week. Trusting our feelings was so important. That feeling of I want to get away, but I need to stay because I need to show that I am loyal, that I love you, and I want to be trusted in the flow of what is happening and seeing what comes next. I also saw how vulnerability was coming up on my side, from my clients, from the people in my life. And it wasn't to weaken, it was to strengthen. Even though at that point it may have felt like foundations were weakening, but actually, as we know, through the storm, after the storm, there is this beautiful strengthening of energy. Higher forces were really at play. I had so much spiritual activity going on. Sessions were intense. I had a client. This was such an interesting thing for me. It's a client I've seen for many years. This person, I'm sure you're listening to this now. because I do remember, and usually I don't remember who it is, but I do remember this because it's a person that I've seen more than once. And as soon as I came on Zoom, this person was looking very grey in energy, very heavy energy. And I actually picked up a soul that was stuck to my client within her heart space. And I picked up that this woman had drowned by a river around where my client lives. And the funny thing is I felt like I knew this woman in spirit that I was seeing. And she was presenting herself completely drenched in water, saying, I drowned and I've attached myself to your client because your client is of light. Your client is a healer. I know that she'll know how to get me to where I need to go, which is through you, Gaia. But you know what the funny thing about the story is? I felt like I knew that soul, and I actually, in between the session, went onto my Facebook page because I've seen someone put this woman's picture up saying, oh, my friend just died. And I actually did more research to find out that that person actually drowned. That person drowned. And it was about a year ago. And so this woman has been in limbo waiting for the right person to get her out. Now, I understood the context of this because something similar happened to me, probably about 10 times worse, to be honest, because I was so sick. When I went to the killing fields in Cambodia, I literally needed to be exorcised because a spirit had attached itself to me because they knew that I'd be able to get them out of the killing fields and into the light. So it was a very vulnerable time, but it was like this soul needed personal power, personal growth, because they felt like they couldn't get out. Therefore, it freed my client to get her personal power back because she was feeling like she was drowning. And she had said to me a few days ago, she had said that to someone, I feel like I'm drowning. So there was just huge shifts for people last week, and contemplating the next steps, like where have you lost your power? What decisions are you making to get it back? It was really very prevalent for me. And we just had the solar eclipse energy, which was in conjunction with the day, after, was the first day of the Divine Feminine Festival of Navaratri. But everything with the solar eclipse is showing you what needs attention. Yes, the Divine Feminine will help us manifest. It's a new moon, but it's really about creating awareness as to what has got to change in order for things to be fair in your life. The fear as an F-A-I-R, those of you who are different accented to me, not F-E-A-R, fairness. So that your personal power can grow. And I'm not going to talk about wars and things because I have been sending healing to everybody every day. Those of you everyone who's affected by this, and everyone will be in some level, especially the countries who are at war. And it's like everyone's fighting for power. Ultimately, it's control, it's power, personal growth, but from a place of destruction, using power as a weapon. So as we went through the week, personal power equals freedom. And when I put up a video on Instagram last week, it's the needing to be free, but also using your power as a strength to grow from, rather than I'm stronger than you, I'm more independent than you. And I have to say, like, honestly, I can go into the independence as my weapon sometimes. And that was a lesson for me last week. I was like, this is not personal power, this is personal attack. As we progressed through the week, I pulled a card, which I do every middle of the week here in New Zealand, and the Be Patient card came up. Patience, something most of us have very little of because we want everything to happen now. It takes time to cultivate power. It takes time to move from fear-based personal power to love-based personal power. Things are coming up for us that are past traumas that we need to move forward with, knowing that they are arising to be healed, not repeated. We need all our tools to be able to relocate the fear from inside of the body so it doesn't push the people you love away. Now, can be on a humanity level, this can be on a relationship level with your children. I was getting messages from friends with children saying their children were saying mean things to them, like, we don't love you anymore, or not wanting. These are small children who don't know what they're saying, but again, it's pushing people away, and that's triggering something in the parents going, oh my God, I'm hurt by this. So it's a collective thing going on. So the card of be patient came up to remind us that to be patient is to trust our feminine, because we think about having babies or creating a business. Things don't happen all overnight. Things take time to grow, and trust is a very feminine energy. We know that anything worth having takes time to create. The hourglass trickles sand steadily but with flow. This is what is happening behind the scenes as you keep the momentum of growth moving forward, being brave and being patient with yourself and others. Everyone is dealing with some level of fear or grief, and being patient. And it was really hard for me to be patient, especially when it was dealing with other people's things. So I really understood why Spirit picked that card and gave me a message for you. The wider meaning of the Monday mantra, when I put that up at the end of the week: to understand your personal power, you must know where your power struggle is. So where is your power struggle? Who are you having it with? Are you having it with yourself, with someone else, with your children, with your colleagues, with your clients? Who? Where you have lost your power, and what you are trying to get back from a place of strength, not weakness. Where you've lost your power and what you are trying to get back from a place of strength, not weakness. There's been some power struggles, people wanting independence, but also not sure what their personal power is, an abuse of power, or a realization that you've given too much of your power away. That was the other aspect of personal power energy week for last week. And whichever, it's an uncomfortable place to be, especially when it's not your normal status quo has been disrupted. Encourage your growth by getting uncomfortable. This is where you will be empowered. And this is part of that feminine energy, divine feminine energy of Navaratri as well. So really, I'm using that energy to harness my feminine energy, which is inside all of us, despite what gender you are. Remember, if you're listening to this, there are many ways to connect with me. I know everyone wants to receive some sort of healing. Seeing me in person is going to be the best way, because I see one person in a day and that's it. Of course, there are Zoom sessions, but everything is waitlisted at the moment. But mini readings, personalized meditations, they are not. So Kieran is the person to ask, because our waitlist grows every day. There's only so many people I can see. But the app is here anytime, any place. Normal conventional meditation apps cost about $15 to $20 per month, because the app platforms take such a huge percentage. This is why we deviate from outside the app platform, so that I can keep it at a very affordable annual rate of $60 per year, which is not even $4 or $5 a month. Kieran is the person to help you for any spiritual help, guidance, support. There's always some way, and the timing is always right when you see me, even if you have to wait a period of time. And I do open up sessions when I feel like I can, because I have to go back to normal first so I can give more. So know that I do suddenly just open things up, and then Kieran will go, okay, this person's on the wait list, and fit you in. So this is why going on the wait list is not going to be a dead cause for you. Kieran is at soul33@gmail.com. And remember, if you have any IT issues, please email her too. She is in touch with IT directly. The group chat is to share. I love how you guys are sharing what cards you're pulling, what is happening with the Monday mantra for you. That's the place to share, because I know, and Kieran knows, a lot of you read the group chat but may not be necessarily writing in there, but it's to share your experience. That's what the group chat is there for. So going into this week's energy, my wounds were raw, but now they are healing. My wounds were raw, but now they are healing. Now, I thought this was an interesting one. I keep looking at my fingers, and I've got lots of little scars and scabs all over my fingers and hands, because I do a lot of cooking. I clean my house. I just keep knocking my fingers, and I see all the scabs coming up, but they're sore, but I'm watching them heal. And I know that Spirit does things to me and draws my attention to things, because it's what I need to teach or what I need to talk about or remember. And I felt really quite raw last week, and I know that a lot of you were in your own way. And I felt like, finding more of my power again was by watching my wounds heal, like the scabs forming. And this is the analogy of being exposed, but then something new is forming, a new foundation. So a raw wound, when we think about it, open, gaping, exposed to the elements, sore, if we pour poison or even an ointment on it to try and heal it. But we are on this divine feminine journey this week with the divine feminine goddesses of various goddesses of Ma Durga. And that power is to renew us, to help us create, accepting all forms of who we are for our empowerment. And when we're finding our power, it's not about being reckless with it. And that's really important this week. So as you listen to the Monday mantra throughout the week, and I recommend listening on like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, especially before I put up the homework for the new week, not thinking about what we're doing to ourselves or others can be reckless. So it's about being considerate with how you're noticing your wounds heal. Now, your wounds may not just be with you. It might be within a relationship or within some other situation. But this week, Spirit is saying, don't be reckless with your words or your actions. There is going to be fast-paced movement. So therefore, that sometimes can mean being reckless. So really try and check before you do anything that you're not being reckless, because what you're going to get back in return is going to be fast. Slow down and act strategically. This way you can discern if you are acting from a place of being too attached to something or someone, or just wanting an outcome just because of the sake of it to try and heal a wound, but actually you're pouring poison on it rather than an ointment. Seeds are naturally going to grow this week, and we're aiming for harmony and intimacy. Self-intimacy, intimacy with a friend, intimacy with a person. Intimacy means lots of different things to different people, because we're wanting a reconciliation. We all want to be appreciated for the wounds we have endured. All of us want to be acknowledged. This is why some people stay in the victim energy, because they feel like that's the only way they can get acknowledgement. But once you've acknowledged what the wound is, see it healing. See how something is healing in your life. You will have a better outcome if you have the awareness that would have come about, and you would have realized during the solar eclipse energy how you're going to act and what seeds are starting to grow. Now, if you're feeling betrayed by your body, betrayed by somebody, betrayed by yourself, or even triggered, ask yourself if you're wanting or allowing yourself to let it go, or are you sabotaging your growth by being too attached to the victim energy? Is this still a current issue that needs to be addressed? So I was told by Spirit there's lots of possibilities this week, but don't be reckless. Know that your wounds are being healed, but you are the one that's keeping them raw if you're not giving enough attention to the right things. There is huge transformation this week, and it's about still that self-awareness. And we are watching those seeds really starting to grow. And you still need to have that energy of speaking up when you want to change things before they mature. But it's like a scab. Like I'm rubbing rosehip oil on my scabs at the moment because I want it to heal, and wearing gloves when I'm doing things. And that's the physical analogy. But what is it emotionally? What is it spiritually? Your homework, I've given you the death room, which I know is quite a favorite for a lot of you, because it is that energy of death. And then I've pushed in the power of the 9 goddesses. And then I've given you a light energy healing for abundance. And then we've gone back to the twin medicine woman again for that divine feminine energy to balance you. So it's a beautiful week for healing, for transformation, for wounds to not be raw anymore, but being strategic and not being reckless. Remember, I'm always here for you in very different ways based on your affordability. We do have people actually booked to fly in from all over the world to see me. So if this is an option, please let Kieran know. But obviously Zooms are there as well. Like I said to you earlier, I do open up sessions closer to the time if I know that my energy can handle it, because sometimes it can take me a while to fully transmute somebody else's energy. Your Monday mantra is, my wounds were raw, but now they are healing. My wounds were raw, but now they are healing. I'm sending you lots of healing light. Remember, stay in your personal power. Go through the motions of the divine feminine transformation this week. Sending you love, peace, and power. I will be speaking with you again soon.